Welcome to the Redirect Podcast. My name is Abigail Hewins.
And I'm Emily Rojas. The Redirect Podcast is a show where we shift the conversation back to books. We discuss themes from some of our favorite fictional books and how those themes show up in real lived experiences.
On today's episode, we'll be joined by our friend Hannah to recap this year in reading and discuss some of the titles we're looking forward to seeing in 2024.
But first, if you've been enjoying the podcast, we would humbly ask that you support us in just a few simple ways. You can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and let us know that you're loving the show.
We'd also love for you to follow us on Instagram at Redirect Podcast and follow Hannah on Instagram at Dollhouse Books. And finally, if you really, really like the show, we'd love for you to share it with a friend. Sharing our show with a friend is by far the best way to help us grow our community of book loving nerds. Welcome, Hannah.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Hannah is friends with me through our infamous book club, which I mention almost every time I'm on this podcast.
I don't think it's infamous. I think it's famous.
I think it's famous, yeah. Hannah is also brilliant, also a librarian.
Almost.
Almost, whatever, very close, rounding up. Okay, so Hannah, tell us a little bit about you. Describe your favorite books, your taste. Give us a look into your life as a reader.
Who am I? So right now I'm a graduate student getting my master's in library and information science, hence the almost. And like right now, I work as a library assistant at like a city public library in the adult services department. But I'm kind of hoping to like eventually, once I graduate, like move into like children's and youth services, mostly just because I love working with kids more so than like adults. So that's kind of where I'm hoping to go. And I'm in my last year working on my capstone and thesis. And I guess reading wise, it has really changed within the last, I feel like, couple of years, mostly because partially this book club that we're in together, because it's really helped me to like accept that I love romance books, because like before it was like something that, you would hide or you wouldn't talk about, but finding like a community of people who also love romance, it just like made me more like open to like expressing that that's like my favorite genre of all time now. So definitely romance books. I really also like manga and like webtoons and manhwa, which is like the Korean manga and everything. So I've been reading a lot of that this year. And then I used to be really into fantasy, not so much this year anymore. I've kind of fallen into like the horror books realm, and then, which is like totally different than like romance, but they're both fun for different reasons. And then I guess
I feel like I've heard that from a lot of people who love romance.
Oh, really?
Actually kind of have this like...
they're not that different though, because you know what to expect. They follow kind of a formula.
A similar
There's
structure.
certain tropes. Yeah, I think that's why I like both thrillers, horror, and romance, because you kind of know what you're getting into. Like, you know that you're going to have a good time. They're different experiences, but I think they do have a lot of similarities.
Yeah, that's true, because they both have they're very heavy on tropes. And so you can go into them knowing like, oh, I like the slasher trope, or I like the enemies to lovers trope. And so I feel like those genres are really good for, one, helping others to figure out what they like, and then two, also just like knowing what you want to read, and like, especially if you're like a mood reader like me, where like I can't set like a TBR at all. It's just based on vibes. And like, if I'm in the like mood to like read something that's like very smutty or something, I know exactly what to read, kind of based on the description.
You are in... See, Emily, don't you see why I wanted to have Hannah on the show?
What?
Literally, it's...
Yes.
Because we are like... we talk about that all the time, about like people being embarrassed to like what they like, or not reading what they like because they think that they need to read something else to be a good reader. And it's just like, you read more when you read what you like. Like, that's what it is. And it helps you with the joy of reading. Another thing to mention about Hannah, I just think that like one of the things you would have to know is she is a huge K-pop fan. Yes. And that is really important to know for her personality. Like, wears it on her chest. And if you follow her at Dollhouse Books, you will also get lots of great K-pop
Yes,
content.
I even have a Christmas tree dedicated to K-pop. I mean, they can't see, but you guys can see.
So, okay.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
there's
so
some
cute.
girls in my book club who are K-pop fans, and this came up. We were like at a game day, and there's like 2 or 3 of y'all who were talking about K-pop. And then I was like, man, I feel like I could really like this, but I don't even know where to start, whatever. And so they're like, oh, it's okay. No pressure at all to like it, but we'll have a K-pop night. And we'll like order dumplings and we'll do this whole presentation. And Hannah came with a full slide deck about BTS, the history,
That's amazing.
the bios on all the members. I was like, this is my favorite thing. Like, watching someone share their special interest.
Yes. Yes. That just connected to me.
Emily is such a PowerPoint girl too.
Yes. I've made so many PowerPoints in my life.
Anyways. Okay.
I love that.
So basically for this episode, if you're listening to this, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our favorites of the year, our least faves of the year, things we're looking forward to, and, you know, whatever comes up along the way, some trends. I personally would like to talk about hockey romances as like having a moment in 2023. So there's lots of good things to talk about. Hannah, as our guest, would you like to kick it off with one of your faves of the year?
One of my faves? Okay, hold on. I got to get my notes out because, like I said, I forget every book that I read as soon as I finish it. Okay, can I do like a series that I loved this year? Okay.
Yes, of course.
Well, I read the first one last year, but I read the 3 following in the companion series this year. It's the Twisted series by Anna Huang, which is like a romance series. And they're all interconnected in that they have like, you know, the characters from like a previous book come and make cameos in the other books, but you don't necessarily need to read them in order. But I feel like Anna Huang's books have made me realize that while I do enjoy contemporary romance, I'm in romance for the smut, because she has literally the like perfect combination of plot to smut, you know, like sometimes some of the more like tame ones, I'm like, ugh, there's too much plot. I get into the fun, sexy times. And then sometimes I read some of the more like, sorry, what?
There's definitely a fine line there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying there's a fine line there.
And I think Talia Hibbert also walks it really well, which she's one of our faves too, that Hannah actually put me onto. But like, she walks that line really well too. I think.
And the other thing that I like about Talia Hibbert, sorry, I'm going off into like a other topic.
That's fine. There's no rules.
The other thing that I like about Talia Hibbert is that she includes not just like a focus on like the romance aspect, but also like each person as an individual before they become a pair, which I love. Like, I feel like the people are very real, and that sometimes with romance, like it can get a little bit one layer.
Caricature-y?
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
And she does a really good job at making sure that there's plot, there's realism, and there's smut.
Yes, she has the best characters. And I think maybe Emily will go to you because she might be on your list, I think.
Sure, she is on my list, so might as well. One of my favorites of the year. Well, I had a hard time because I had so many good books I read this year. So I try to think of the ones that I'm going to like remember, you know, next year. I'm going to look back fondly on. So I really loved, as you guys know, the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert. But especially I really like Take a Hint, Danny Brown, which Abigail told me was the best
They're all so good, but it is the best one. It has the best book boyfriend, I think, maybe that has ever existed.
Ever. Because you know what's really a lot of people do, just to dive in. I mean, we've talked about this book extensively, so I'm not going to recap the whole plot for you guys, but like the book boyfriend who's like sensitive and likes romance novels, I feel like so many people try to do that, and it ends up seeming like this isn't a real man, or like this isn't a person that exists in real life. But I feel like Talia Hibbert made him so, again, like you said, she made him such a real character that you felt like it's someone you know, and could like really know it could be your friend, could be someone you could actually fall in love with. So I love that this book, like I feel like I can visualize the characters, like I can see them in my mind, what they would look like, which is rare. I don't feel like I'm a super visual person when I'm reading books, but she just writes so well. I'm like, I know what her house looks like, I know what the scenes that took place, I can still picture them in my head. So I think this is a great, if you want the literally perfect romance novels, just read this trilogy. They are perfect, in my opinion, and all of ours here. I'm just going to speak for all of us. It is the exact balance of what you guys were talking about, of all the things you want in a romance novel, but just the perfect amounts of everything. So 10 out of 10. That's my first one that I loved this year.
Okay. One of my faves, kind of taking a little bit of a left turn, it was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I loved it. I loved that it was horror without being like slasher. Do you know what I mean? Like there was this increasing sense of dread. I thought the writing was incredible. I thought it was like, oh, it's so, I mean, it's definitely probably not like a holiday read. It's so uncomfortable, like increasingly uncomfortable with like the anti-hero and how she's like, just goes farther and farther down this hole of like appropriation. I loved it. Emily, I know how you feel about it. Hannah, did you read Yellowface this year?
I put it on a temporary DNF, not because I didn't like it. I love R.F. Kuang. The Poppy War series is one of my all-time favorites. I even was talking about the Poppy War at our last book club, and how everyone should read it and why it was so good, but also like content warnings and stuff. But I put it on hold because I guess for the people listening, I'm Asian American, so I feel like that is important to know. I started reading it and I was just getting so angry and so frustrated because I was like, in my opinion, there was nothing new to any of this. I was like, this is just something that I've experienced before. This is like, I know people that have experienced this. I live it. They live it. I don't need to read it. I should read it, but I'm just not in the place to right now. And so I think like that's why it's on a temporary DNF, or maybe a temporary hold is a better term for me, at least.
Yes, I think that is totally fair to be like, I do want to read it, but I just can't read it right now. But you have to be in the mental space to read a book like that. That's going to hit some triggers or some past experiences. So, but great recommendation for the Poppy War. I would love to read more of her work.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. And also, as I think I mentioned that I'm not a fantasy girly, but this is one fantasy series that I like actually like highly recommend and loved and cried over and screamed over, but like in a good way because it was so good.
Okay, Hannah, back to you. What's another book you loved this year?
Another book. Okay. So this one, I loved it, but I do not recommend it to everyone. It's a book talk book. Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I'm not sure if you're aware of that book. Okay, so
I've definitely seen it, but I have not read it.
A very dark romance, and I haven't finished it, like the series, but I've only read the first one. But it has literally every terrible thing that could happen, and like every content and trigger warning known to man. And like even at the beginning of the book, there's like a list kind of things to be aware of and stuff. So I definitely don't recommend it to everyone because there is a lot of like big no's for a lot of people in it. But I went into it thinking that like I was going to absolutely hate it because I had heard some of the topics that were in it, like these aren't spoilers or anything, but like non-con and stalking and like physical and emotional abuse and stuff like that. So like I went in and I was like, this is going to be a book. Oh, am I allowed? I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Okay.
You're fine.
You're good.
I was like, it's going to be so bad. Like, why? I mean, I had a very closed mind. Why would people read this? This is so bad. Like, it's going to promote bad stuff. And then I read it and I was like, you know, it's kind of fun. I kind of devoured that in one sitting. Oh my God. But I think it's like also like if you're old enough and you know the difference between like fiction and reality, you can just enjoy it. And it's kind of more on like a thrillery side too. So yeah, that was a book that surprised me in terms of me liking it actually.
Yeah, that's a really interesting conversation about books. And Emily, I'm trying to think, I think there was a couple books we talked about on the podcast this year where it's like, you don't recommend it to everyone, but if you're old enough to, like, I wouldn't recommend it to your kid, but if you're old enough to understand the context, then it's okay. But I'm looking through my books I read this year and I can't remember, Emily, if you can.
Well, we kind of had a conversation about that with Little House on the Prairie.
We did.
Of like certain books, maybe like I think we wouldn't want our kids to read Little House on the Prairie, but we were saying, you know, certain things that maybe in the past were acceptable, like could a kid read it and you could have that conversation like, hey, things have changed now, or is it better just to have them not read it at all?
Yeah,
so
Hannah, we did like
conversation came from.
We like read we did a series this year where we read some children's books that we remember when we were kids, and we reread Little House on the Prairie as adults, and it was like hella racist in a way that we didn't remember, and like really wild stuff. And we were like, wow, I can't believe we just read this as kids, don't remember the racist stuff. And, you know, then it led to this broader conversation of like book bans and stuff. And like, should things be censored for kids because they have racist things in them, or should we just know how to talk about them before we give it to kids to read?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a really challenging subject to talk about because there's always going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with you. But like, I am 100% on the side against like bans. Like, I don't think there should be bans, especially because the groups that get banned the most are the marginalized communities. I think, though, however, when it comes to content that is specifically hateful and racist, while taking them out of the collections of libraries or stores or whatever, I'm thinking from a library perspective, is hurtful in the way that like people won't be able to talk about why these books are wrong or why the messages are wrong. So I do think it's important to have, but I think it's like important to be able to have the discussions on like why a specific message or ideology or belief is wrong. And if you don't have any of that in the content, then there's no way to have that discussion. However, I don't think it should be in collections and just be like, okay, left as is. I think maybe it needs to be organized in a way that, and taught in a way that is very upfront about, you know, like Little House on the Prairie is a very racist series. This is why, blah, 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 blah. It's also hard because my personal bias is I'd be like, okay, no, we can't have it in the collection. Or like, no, we're not going to have Dr. Seuss books anymore in the collection. But obviously that comes from my own, you know, perspectives and stuff. And we do have to think about the community as a whole. And like,
yeah, that's kind of where we landed, and we were just kind of like, you know, in this scenario, there's definitely better books about prairie life, and I think we found some children's books from the perspective of maybe the more marginalized people. There's one about like an indigenous little girl, so we're like, you know, maybe you can do it from the opposite perspective of let's tell those people's stories and talk about how it was versus just, you know, reading
right. And I think it's like important to be making sure that like the topic that and theme of the book is being told by the actual people that it's about, you know? That first person perspective.
Absolutely. Okay, so to segue, one of my other favorites this year, and I know this is honestly hit or miss. Some people hate this book, and that's okay. It's Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And I picked this book because I read it at the beginning of the year, and I still think about it. It's about two friends who kind of have this like really intense relationship. It spans many years of their friendship, I think 30 years or so. And it's Sam and Sadie, and they eventually like collaborate and make this video game together and become famous, and then kind of have like this fallout. And it's kind of devastating, and I understand some people do not like the devastating part, but I just really love this book. I really, it's another thing. I think I've realized I really like well thought out, complicated characters, and Sadie and Sam are both very complicated and not necessarily always likable, but I definitely saw a lot of myself in them, especially Sam. Like, he has a really hard time, like showing love to people and letting people in, and I feel like he's an extreme version of some parts of myself where, you know, like, it's hard for me to say I love you to people sometimes and like show that affection, and he kind of takes that to an extreme level of like never being able to let people in any way. But I just thought this was a really like devastating but really nice book that I really can't stop thinking about. So I really liked it. And even if you don't like video games, that's kind of like a major plot, but it's like one of those things where it's just kind of a device to tell the story, not you have to be super into video games to like it. So I think that's what put me off reading it for a while, was like I was kind of like, I like video games sometimes, but I'm not a super gamer. So, but you don't have to be to like this book, I think. Although again, not everyone likes this book. So again, it's like maybe for the right person, I would recommend this, but maybe not for everyone. But that's one of my favorites of the year for sure.
Did you read it, Hannah?
I also started this, and it's been on a temporary hold for a long, long time, but for an entirely different reason. I was listening to the audiobook, and I realized like maybe 60% of the way that I had no idea what was happening and who was who. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it on hold, and I'm going to get the physical copy. I just haven't.
I do think this would be a difficult audiobook because it's kind of like a weird third person narrative where it kind of like transitions in and out and the time jump. So I would probably have a hard time listening to this as an audiobook. I would definitely think the physical would be better,
the like
for sure
10% that I did. No, I enjoyed. Just as the other 60% I didn't.
And I really like Gabrielle Zevin. Yeah. She was another one of my favorites this year was the storied like life of AJ Fikry. And that was also by her. So I'm starting to think she's just a character or a author I really like. So I would recommend that too if you read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
I had a question about that though. Was the main criticism of the book that it was just devastating, or were there other reasons?
I've heard people say like it's not a lot of plot, and there is like a specific thing that happens. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it. That's kind of like a shocking tragedy, and I think sometimes people don't like that because it's like a plot device, or you know, like it's not earned. But I thought it kind of worked. But I think it is kind of a controversial choice she made. I think it's just like with any book, though. I mean, this is a really popular book, so I sometimes think with any book that gets that popular, obviously there's going to be people who don't like it. But I feel like I've seen more and more lately of people who didn't like it, so now I'm sensitive to recommending it. But yeah, I think it's not for everyone. Maybe
the thing that happens is like a pretty big trigger.
Is it
yes,
the one with
I will
the
say that
professor?
too. So maybe look at the
I guess the mentor guy.
Well, we can say it. Do you want us to say it and we can just edit it out?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, or just skip ahead 30 seconds.
It's a shooting.
Know.
Oh, okay. I would not say it then.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought it was the professor being on vacation.
Yeah. So,
or I don't even know if he's a professor.
No. Well, that is also in this. Yeah, that is also another thing. So, but no, it kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like a really shocking, like plot twist. So, yeah, not everyone likes that. You know, it's kind of like One Day, the movie, which I also really like. It's also a
hate
book that I really
that
love.
movie, and it's a book.
Is that with Robert Pattinson?
And the book is really good.
No. Oh.
No, it's Anne Hathaway.
That's another one
Wait,
It's Anne Hathaway.
That's the cousin.
Remember Me?
Okay,
Remember Me is also in this genre where something shocking happens. One day she gets hit by a bus, like at the end of the movie. She just out of nowhere.
I feel so angry.
It's a really good book, though, I will also say. But if you're not into that kind of thing, you might not like Tomorrow. It's very akin to Robert Pattinson in Remember Me, where it's like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. But at least that's not the end of the book. So I think that helps. There's like aftermath of that. It's kind of, maybe 60% of the way through. So you're probably almost there. Yeah. So I understand that criticism for sure. But for me, it worked. And I thought it was well done and like an important part of the plot. But I understand people who think it was kind of just a plot device, I guess, that maybe they didn't enjoy. So anyways, that was my pick. Number 2.
Okay. One of mine is really, I'm going to take a page out of Hannah's book and just like name an author in the series. I read 15 books by Julia Quinn this year.
Wow.
I don't even know how many books
crazy.
she has. I think it's probably just a few more than that. I got on my Bridgerton thing this year. Okay. And look, Hannah and I have talked about this, but I will say, if you like the show, that's great. If you like the books, that's great. You can like them both independently because they're their own thing and they are both good in different ways. I read the Bridgertons, obviously, to start me off. And it's just so easy to just like get into this. Like I tried reading other stuff. Like I really did. But like when I was in Bridgerton world, it's so hard to like get out of it. And then like I'm looking at my book tracker in November. Literally, it's like I color coded like romance is pink. Literally every single book is pink. Because then I went on to the Rokesby's series by her, which is the Bridgerton prequels. Then I went to the Smythe Smith series, which is like a spin-off of the Bridgertons. And then I even started the Bevel Stokes. But then I was like, I have to stop. I have to do something different. But I don't know what it is. I love historical fiction. I love historical romance. It's just like, it's like drugs to me. I love historical romance and it's so comforting. Like all of these books are like around 300 pages. You always know like about this point in the book, this was what's going to happen. I mean, it's just like, I just love her characters. I love the setting. I love that she like has some like strong women characters that are, in the like 1800s and 1700s. And I'm just so obsessed with her. And I am making this podcast to talk about the Romancing Mr. Bridgerton before the new season of Bridgerton comes out because we have to honor this book. I'm just so obsessed with Julia Quinn this year. And
Amazing.
Hannah, I know you're a big fan of her too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm more of a fan of the shows, mostly because I haven't read all of the books. It's like on my endless to read list, But
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the shows and the books, but like you were saying, separately. Like, because the 2 books that I've read of the Bridgertons were, I guess, the first 2, because I'm trying to read them in order. I just remember just being completely, because I had seen the show first, and I was just like completely, maybe not devastated, seems like too big of a word, but shocked at how different they were. And like, I was so impressed with the changes that they had made for the show. And it just made me want to read this series more because I'm like, what else did they change? What else did they do to make it different? Like, how did they make these characters a little bit more likable or,
Yes, it's like I trust Shonda Rhimes so much. And I just feel like she's taken this like these great stories by Julia Quinn. They've like really worked together to make this like new thing. And it's really fun. So highly recommend. And just like if it's a daunting task for people, you don't have to read them in order because like spoiler, the love interest in every story, it works out. So like the only spoiler for any future books, if you read them out of order, is that the main characters in the other books got together. I mean, that's not really like a huge plot twist. So if you want to just like skim through the summaries and pick what you think you would like the best, you're able to do that, and that's fine. Okay. Should we move on to some books that we didn't love so much?
I would be happy to.
I didn't even think about this. Let me pull up something.
I mean, it's hard. I feel I didn't make as long of a list for this.
You don't want to.
Because also, like, some of the books I read this year that I didn't like so much were smaller authors, and I don't feel good dunking on a smaller author.
No.
I will say this year we did our Colleen Hoover deep dive episode, so I did read a few Colleen Hoover books, and those did rank at the very bottom of my list. So I read Verity, It Ends With Us, and Reminders of Him for that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about. I mean, we basically beat that horse. So
Yeah. Go listen to that.
go listen to our Colleen Hoover episode if you'd like our full thoughts. And then the other book I didn't love this year was Making Rumors, which we read for the Daisy Jones and the Six episode.
Still never finished it. I'm like, should I, just to get an extra book on my, tally for the year, because I only have a few chapters left, but then it's like I can't make myself do it.
Hannah, what do you got?
So like the only two that are like really jumping out at me, one is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, which is part of the Dreamland Billionaires romance companion series, which is like the Disneyland inspired one. And like my reason for not liking it is so silly compared to like maybe other reasons, but they kept describing the male love interest's butt as a bubble butt, and like I couldn't get over that.
No. Ick.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just like, I mean, it wasn't like every page, but it was like enough for me to notice that I didn't like that. So I
That's
just
too much. More than once is
I
probably
kind of just
good.
was like, no. And I guess I also wasn't interested enough in the characters, maybe because I had gotten the ick, that I just was like, no, I'm just going to drop it. So I think I only got through like maybe 40% of it.
Yeah, so we've read some bad books for our book club, and I won't name it the book that I'm thinking of because the author is not like big enough for me to dunk on. But the thing that gave me the ick was like some of the, Emily will probably choose to edit this out, but in the book. And I was just like, I can't read this and like not call the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. That was.
Oh, that was before I had joined.
Oh, I read that one too.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hated that book.
That was
as
like
well.
TBR, but that sounds unreadable.
Yeah, take that off.
Yes, everything about that.
It was a little bit cringe, and it had the.
But that part was the worst.
Yeah, it had the opportunity to be good, but I couldn't get past that.
Yeah, like the plot itself was good, but then the characters were maybe the most stupid and immature. But they were like, meanwhile, like surgeons and lawyers. I think like they were supposed to be like extremely intelligent.
Right.
It was very. I didn't like it. Anyways,
Emily, what about you?
Mine I didn't like this year. I feel vindicated by this because I feel like people are starting to hate Demois a lot, but Anon Please by Demois was one of my least favorite books maybe I've ever read. It's written by someone who thinks they're a good person but clearly isn't, and then the main character is extremely unlikable, and they don't understand why because they wrote it about themselves. Also, The Every by Dave Eggers, Why God? Did I read that book? A great start with The Circle and a horrible follow-up with The Every. And then you guys know I didn't like One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, but I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, so I feel comfortable dunking on her. I just personally did not like this one book, but I've loved everything else she's ever
You know
written,
what?
so.
I honestly think that gives like stans credibility. If you can like stan somebody and then also say, yeah, but like this wasn't their best work.
But
it's kind of like how
Yeah.
like I'm a Swiftie, but I can say that like Me by Taylor Swift should never have been a single and it's a terrible song. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Constructive criticism.
You know, it gives me credibility because I'm able to like look at her objectively. So you can love Taylor Jenkins Reid and not love One True Loves, and that's okay.
Absolutely. Also, I did just read, the other day I posted on my Instagram because I was like, someone give me some holiday romance. All I wanted, I just finished this really heavy nonfiction book, which I talked about in our last episode, and I just wanted a holiday romance that was available immediately on Libby to cleanse my palate before I went to sleep. And no one gave me any recommendations. Abigail texted me a few days later. So I just downloaded this one book, which I don't even like the Regency era books, you know, unfortunately. That's not my thing. But I was like, maybe I'll like this one because it was like a marriage of convenience. And I'm not going to say it because I really hated it. Like there's this guy, he's disowned by his family. He owns this theater and he has like a bad reputation. And the girl somehow has a good enough reputation that marrying each other will improve his reputation in society. Anyways, it was just terrible. So that was,
and
I didn't
was
even
also
finish
Christmas?
It wasn't even Christmas. I just was like, well, it's like maybe a nice, you know, I just wanted something light and fluffy and romantic. And it was not good in any way. So anyways, please send me your recommendations. Although Abigail did now, so.
Hannah, what I recommended to her was Time to Shine. Which we're reading for book club. I already read, but you read it, right? You recommended it to the book club?
I don't think I recommended it. I think someone else did, but
it wasn't you. I wasn't there.
Okay.
I wasn't at the book club, so I don't remember. But have you read Time to Shine? It's by, hold on, I forgot.
Jill Santos or something? Is that the one? Am I?
Rachel Reed.
No, okay. So I'm thinking
it's
of
about
a different one.
It's about gay hockey players.
Oh, wait. The upcoming one.
Yes. This one. Do you see
yes, okay.
the blue covered?
I was thinking of an entirely different book. I was thinking of a heterosexual romance.
Okay. No, this is gay. Okay. This is deliciously gay and hockey and Christmas and Canada.
Okay. Oh, it was
That's all I need to know.
Who recommended this?
Oh, okay. It was Zippy.
Yeah. I can't wait to read it.
Anyways, those are my hates of the year. Respectfully. Especially the Every by Dave Eggers.
Hannah, I saw you get like a light bulb when Emily was talking about Christmas or like holiday books. Do you have anything to recommend?
I have so many because I love holiday and Christmas books because I love, it's like in the cheesy Hallmarky movie kind of way.
Yes. Exactly. I love Hallmark.
But like my favorite one.
No, for the audio, she's scooting towards her bookshelf.
Oh yeah. The Holiday Trap by Roan Parrish.
Oh, cute.
Okay.
It's kind of long for a romance book, in my opinion, because it's like over 400 pages, but it goes by really quickly. But it takes place it's kind of like, wait, have you seen The Holiday? But with Reese.
Yes.
No, not Reese Witherspoon. Kate Winslet.
And it's available.
Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz, Jack Black, and Jude Law.
Yeah. So it kind of has that similar vibe of switching lives and stuff, but it's like, I think it's set in...
what's it called again?
The Holiday Trap.
Holiday Trap. It is available now on my Libby. So
I'm literally breaking my neck to get to my Libby.
Yeah. So it has really good, or I think it has really good combination of funny moments, serious moments, kind of has a finding yourself kind of vibe to it. And then it has LGBT representation. It's set in part of it is set in Louisiana, I believe. So it's a really fun, different kind of Christmassy vibe.
Oh, I love
that.
It's
not the typical snowy mountain town, which is fun too, but it definitely caught me off guard. And I loved it so much. So it's probably my favorite.
I actually stumbled across this one now that I'm looking at it in my search for my quest, I should say. But it started off for fans of Casey McQuiston. It comes to this, and sometimes I get nervous when people say this is just like this other author. So then I got nervous, but I'm back in per your recommendation.
I'm not a huge Casey McQuiston fan, so I've given both of their books 2 or 3 stars, and I loved this one. So maybe you'll like it too if you don't like Casey McQuiston.
I think, well, Emily liked both of their books.
I liked One Last Stop specifically.
I didn't like One Last Stop.
What was the other one?
I didn't like One Last Stop, but I did like Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Oh yeah, I liked Red, White, and Royal Blue. I like both of them. Right. Yeah, I like Casey McQuiston.
We disagreed on One Last Stop. I DNF'd
Yes.
one Last Stop because I thought it was boring.
But I do understand why
Yeah.
you might not like it. It is boring, but I kind of liked it for the boringness. Anyways.
Okay.
I'm in. So thank you. You healed me.
Books we're looking forward to in 2024.
Yes.
I'm going to kick it off with Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is going to be the third in the Maple Hill series. Okay. Hannah, I see you nodding. And I'm so excited to talk to you about this because I actually saw you post on Instagram about these. Okay. So the first one everyone is probably more familiar with is Icebreaker. TikTok sensation, hockey, like the hockey romance. Really good. I loved it. Even though I will say I don't love books that are set in college because to me it feels unrealistic that the main characters are as mature as they are in college. And maybe that's just my own bias of like, I felt like specifically men were really stupid in college. So to me, it's like, oh, there's just like super like emotionally intelligent and like self-aware, like college athlete. Okay. Suspend your disbelief. But the thing that's really fun about this series for those who are not acquainted is that the second book then follows minor characters from the first book. So, you know, they're each having their little moment, which is really fun. And the characters from the first book kind of show up in the background. The third one is coming out, I think it's going to be a summer book next year. It's called Daydream. The girl, the female main character on the cover is wearing a Taylor Swift cardigan sweater. So I'm feeling like this is going to be a very interesting main character for me in my Swiftie timeline. Hannah, are you excited about Daydream? How are you feeling?
Okay, I got super excited because I actually had no idea that the third one was coming out so soon. And I didn't even know the title.
I'm breaking this news to you.
Yeah. So, like, I'm like, my heart is palpitating. I'm sweating. I'm like so excited. I love this series.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Do you agree with me, though, that it's kind of hard to believe that male main characters in college that are on a hockey team could be so aware of themselves? Also, the thing about these kids is that they're really rich, which I get. It's convenient. If you're an author and you're trying to write an interesting story about college kids, it helps if they have rich parents because it's just like makes things easier. It makes travel easier or fun dates or whatever. Yeah. Like, I get it, but I'm also like, both of, like in the first book, one of the main characters was rich, and the second one, another. Yeah, it's just, I'm okay with it. You just have to suspend your disbelief and enjoy. Emily, you have to read Icebreaker.
I have it on my mental TBR.
Okay, good.
Two thoughts popped up. One, I think because I read both. I read Icebreaker and I listened to the audiobook of Wildfire. And is that the second one? Yeah. And
Wildfire, yeah.
I liked the first one, I think, a little bit more because I wasn't listening to the audiobook. And the audiobook
is cringe.
Yeah. I
have heard that.
I have this issue, and it's a me issue, not a narrator issue, but like a me issue where when guys change their voice to sound like a woman's voice, it just makes me cringe so much.
Speak on it.
I hate that. But the other way around is like amazing. But
the woman speaking in man voice, fine, give it to me.
Impressive.
But I 100% agree with you, Hannah. It is so freaking cringe when men do that.
It just feels like a caricature, like the immediately high pitched voice and like kind of too breathy. To me, I'm not a fan, so I think that's why I didn't like it as much. But I love the characters, and the thing that I like about this companion series is that even when the characters are minor characters, they have so much personality, and there's a lot of banter between all of the characters, which makes it really fun.
Mm-hmm. And just as a plug, the second book is set at a summer camp, and it's a camp counselors, which
Say less.
Emily, I knew you would just eat that up. It's finger licking good. It's like, as somebody who, like, Emily and I went to camp together as kids, and we're also like counselors at camp together. The drama that goes on between camp counselors, like, Emily, the entire setting of this book, I was imagining Indian Creeks. So, you know,
R.I.P. But yes,
you just need to.
I'm ready.
This would be the second one. Wildfire would be a great summer read. Strong sense of summer. So, okay, Hannah, what are you looking forward to? Any releases you're looking forward to in 2024?
So bringing back Anna Huang, she's working on her second companion series, which is still kind of a companion series to the Twisted series, because some of them made like really tiny cameos, and but it's the Kings of Sin series. And right now I think there are 3 out, maybe 4. I've only read King of Wrath and King of Pride. So it follows, there's going to be 7 books, and it follows each of the 7 deadly sins, which I love anything that has to do with the 7 deadly sins. Like, just as an anime fan, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, just plugging that in there. But it's a billionaires series, and each of them is like a different kind of deadly sin and everything. But I'm looking forward to literally every single book that she's going to come out with in that series, because they're just so fun. And it's so fun to imagine what it'd be like to date a billionaire in a non-real way.
It is like a non-Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm going to open this question up. Do you guys think it's possible for a real life billionaire to be hot? Or does the fact that what they had to do to become a billionaire has eaten their insides out so bad that they are now like horrible on the outside?
Is the
I'm Googling world's hottest billionaires.
the CEO
It's not looking
TikTok
good.
a billionaire? Because I think he's pretty hot. In
Hold
like
on,
a
Googling.
cute, like nerdy way.
I've never seen this man.
He's cute. Like, yeah, in like a
Okay, he
like,
has a
you know,
cute
your
face.
pal.
Yeah, his TikTok is
His
hilarious.
net worth is 200 million.
Okay, see,
unfortunately,
okay,
so
never
not even
mind.
Do you
close.
guys watch the other two?
So I'm gonna say no and no. I haven't seen
Okay,
the other
there's
two.
an episode of the other two where one of the female main characters, she's like trying to find a billionaire today, and she goes and like every time she goes out, she gets set up with these billionaires. Every time she goes out with them, they're like really weird, and they talk about like, hey, do you want to get on my spaceship? And like then they like through the date, their face gets more and more Botox or whatever, and so she decides they're really weird, so she's gonna go out with 100 millionaire. And so she goes out with 100 millionaire. She's like, this is really close and whatever. But while they're sitting at dinner, he like gets a notification on his phone that he's officially become a billionaire. And like the minute he becomes a billionaire, he starts being like deranged and like, so you guys, I highly recommend the other two. It's great. But all I'm saying is billionaires shouldn't exist. And so if you become one, what have you had to do to get there? And can you be hot? But romance books are also all about suspending disbelief. So by all means, go off and read books about hot billionaires.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be real.
I agree.
I know it's not. Oh yeah, that's what makes it so much more fun. Because have you guys seen the like TikTok videos where it's like me like kicking and giggling over something that a man says in a romance book, and then like when they say it in real life, you would just want to die. I'm like, yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
literally.
It's like if someone actually did this, I would hate it. But reading about it, I'm okay.
Ick. All right. Emily, what are you looking forward to in 2024?
Okay, very rapidly. I'm looking, obviously, goes without saying, Funny Story by Emily Henry. I can't wait. Rachel Hawkins has a new book coming out, The Heiress, and I actually just read The Villa today. I finished
on my
it.
recommendation.
So, yes, per your recommendation, it finally came in on Libby, and I really liked that, and I really like Reckless Girls by her, and you also liked The Wife Upstairs, Abigail, so excited for her. Catherine Center has a new book, so, you know, TBD on if we'll enjoy her.
Did you end up reading? Did either of you end up reading her release this year?
No, I haven't yet,
was it
but it's
called?
on my, I think I have it on hold.
I read it and I actually surprisingly liked it. I thought it was going to be weird.
I know. I can picture the cover in my head.
Hello, Stranger. Okay, because
Yes,
it's about
Hello, Stranger.
it's about face blindness.
Face blindness, which was odd.
That's like the problem of the book is that the female main character has an accident and she has temporary face blindness. And so I thought that was going to be really weird. But I actually liked it. It was cute. So I think I will give her third book a go as well.
And then finally, Allie Hazelwood, I didn't know anything about this, but she has a book coming out about vampires and werewolves. I am interested.
Intrigued.
That seems definitely outside of what she normally writes, so I'm very interested. But I have no other information other than it is about vampire werewolf romance. So
Is it YA? Because I think she released a YA book that I haven't read.
it definitely sounded YA, but I couldn't tell for sure. Like I got YA vibes.
Oh, she wrote Check and Mate with a Oh, is the book called Bride, the vampire werewolf one?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So we'll see. So yeah, I'm interested in all of those. And it's like, you never know what books are you going to discover, what authors are you going to
who are you going to
about this year?
discover
I don't
next
know.
year?
Exactly. So that's exciting always,
Hannah, any other 24 releases that you're looking forward to?
I don't know if it's a 2024 release because I feel like I just saw something about it releasing in the UK, but volume 5 of Heartstopper. I'm not sure if either of you have read that series. It's a graphic novel series.
I have not.
It got adapted into an amazing Netflix TV show. But it's basically romance between two, what's the equivalent in the UK? High school, grade 11 and 12.
Secondary school.
Secondary school, yeah. Two boys, and it's basically just following their life together.
Oh,
It's
cute.
really cute. It's really good, feel good vibes, very sweet. There are some darker moments, but I feel like it is a story that highlights more on just the good parts of love as opposed to the traumatic parts of love when you're gay. So I think it's a really good series for people to read. And it's really fast to read because it's a graphic novel series. But
I think that's going to be one of my goals for 2024 is reading more graphic novels. One of my goals this year was more fantasy, and I achieved that. But I would really, I think I'd like to dip a toe into graphic novels in 24.
that would be a fun one to get you into it because it's just so sweet and happy and lovey and cute.
Aw, I love that. One other release I'm looking forward to is The Women by Kristen Hanna. Much anticipated. It's about the women who are behind the scenes in the Vietnam War. I'm very excited. I love everything she writes, so I'm really pumped. And is The Nightingale coming out? Is the movie coming out next year?
I feel like it
Well,
must
I don't know
be.
if it got delayed because of the strike and stuff.
True.
I don't know. Quick Google search did not yield results. So anyways, very much looking forward to that. All right. Anything else we need to cover before we wrap this thing up?
Oh, did you want to talk more about hockey romances? You said that was something.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, you did
Why
want to
not?
talk about that.
Okay, Hannah, why do you think that hockey romances had a moment?
I feel.
Or why? What is it that's so appealing? Because, I'm really into it right now. I didn't get into it until just a couple weeks ago. But I don't even care about hockey. And now all of a sudden I'm, Googling hockey maneuvers so I can understand something in the book more. What do you think it's about?
Okay, well, So my theory is I'm also kind of new to the hockey romance world too, because the only one that I've read is The Icebreaker, but then I want to read Pucking Around, which I think was also another hockey romance book that kind of projected this. But I was thinking about like,
And also The Game by Elle Kennedy, I think.
oh yeah, the deal, the game, Briar U,
I think
the
The Deal
campus
is the
series.
hockey one, right?
Yeah, so I've read that too, and I really
Yeah, I
liked her.
just rented it.
Oh, that's good. It's nice and smutty. But I was thinking because just sports in general is not something that I like at all in terms of like watching or consuming. But then I like it in like romance books and I like it in anime. And I was thinking maybe part of the reason that I like it, and this could be a reason for other readers, is that you're not just reading about the game. You're reading about like the emotions behind the game. You're hearing the like stories that lead them to where they are. Like it's all about the other stuff, maybe. And that makes the game more compelling. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I think like I like reading, like to use Ali Hazelwood as an example. I like that her books are set in the world of STEM, even though I don't like math and science, because it gives like this other element of something that you just like get to casually and passively learn about. And it's like this, it's almost like its own character. Like the setting is something that you're unfamiliar with. And like, it's fun to read books that are in settings you're really familiar with, but I think that's part of the reason why I like historical romance, or like I like reading authors like Talia Hibbert, who all of her books are set in the UK, because I'm not familiar with it. So it's like it's its own element of its own. What do you think, Emily?
I definitely agree, and I feel like hockey in particular, I feel like is a more attractive sport. I don't know, it's kind of like rough.
I think soccer is probably the hottest sport.
I guess, but they're kind of like divas as well.
They do fall dramatically.
But to me, a hockey guy is like he's just a guy. He could just be walking down the street, but he's also a professional athlete. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
they're not
football
famous
players,
enough, is what you're saying.
Yes. And it's also like a nice sport. I don't know. I always liked hockey, but I feel like it's like a rough sport. You know, they're rugged, but they're also just a guy. And you convince yourself that they have like family values. Maybe they're Canadian. You know what I mean? So I think that all contributes to it as well. But I also agree. It's like, you know, like you said, like Ali Hazelwood, for example, or any romance author who has like a very distinct niche. Yeah. It's kind of makes you feel like, oh, I'm learning. It's more than just a romance novel. It's also about sports or science, you know? So I think that's just a coincidence. And then once you get a really good one that gets popular, like I think Icebreaker was one of the more popular ones on TikTok, then people are recommending, okay, if you like Icebreaker, then try this. So then it kind of, you know, leads to that kind of trend. So that's my hypothesis. Thank you.
In summary, go read more of what you love in 2024.
As always.
Hannah, where can people follow you and stuff?
This is on Instagram, you can follow me at Dollhouse Books. So doll DOLLHOUSEBOOKS, Dollhouse Books. And then that's also my handle on Goodreads and Storygraph. But those are the only socials that I have.
Love it.
I get a lot of books and a lot
Thanks
of
for joining us, Hannah.
Thanks for having me. This is nerve-wracking but exciting.
Catch you guys next time.
Bye.